Hello. Have you noticed that everybody's photo is about 10 years younger than they actually are? I had that photo taken by my intern at least 8 years ago, probably 10 years ago. So I apologise for my appearance today. Did you notice it's mostly the men as well? You're like, really? Is that really you or your son? Anyway, my name is Di Macdonald. Oh, I've jumped ahead. My name's Di Macdonald. I run a company called Like Literally. I'm going to get to... There we go. Thank you. There's my man at the back, correcting every mistake I make. What am I going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about digital learning strategy. That sounds really dull. So I've layered on something else that I've recently got involved with, and that's working with millennials and also working with Generation Z, because they're coming, ready or not, they're coming. About a year ago, first of all, here's all the sexy companies I've worked for. I'm going to refer to some of these sexy companies today. I probably can't say much about Apple, because they don't let you say anything, but I might sneak a few things in there. So all of the examples I'm going to use today are from these companies that I've worked for. I currently teach at Pearson Business School as well. But last year I started my own company, and it was on the back of I did a piece of work at L'Oreal for a year, and during that year I was given an intern. Now I haven't had an intern for, about 20 years. I'm 50, I've been managing 35-year-olds, and suddenly I've given a teenager. I'm like, oh my God, what do I do with this is why I haven't had children. I don't want teenagers. And it was like having a Labrador puppy in the office. Oh my God, they don't know what they're doing. Half the time they're chewing your shoes in the corner. And at the month 2 after having this girl, her name was Fionn, she was from Wales, I went to HR and said, it's not working out, can I give her back? Like a puppy. You know, month 2 of a puppy, the novelty's worn off. And they said, no, you have to keep her. I'm like, oh my God. And then I thought, if I really genuinely had been given a Labrador puppy and I had that puppy for a year, at the end of a year, it could still be chewing a shoe, or it could be a seeing eye dog. What's the difference? The owner. So I then realised it's not her fault. University is not equipping these kids for the corporate world. Their parents aren't doing a very good job either. And actually, corporates have these high expectations. So I set up a company called Like Literally to address that gap. Now, Like Literally, I called my name there, I called my company this, because in the UK especially, I don't know here, I blame the Kardashians. Every second word is like, oh my God, I literally died. It was awesome. So at the end of the year, Fionn could write a brilliant business email. She could build rapport. She could make great connections. She could prioritize. She was proactive. She even stopped painting her nails at her desk. Winner. But I couldn't get her to stop saying literally, literally all the time. So I've named my company after her. So she did say to me, I'm really pleased that my incompetence has given you a brand name. Her mum wasn't so excited. So that's what I do. So today I'm going to talk about learning strategy. I'm not going to say digital learning strategy. I am going to address that. But here's the 3 things I'm going to talk to you about. Your audience, brand, and then content. I've also got some content to show you, because I hate going to conferences and people talk about all this amazing content, and you don't ever see it. So I'm going to give you a sneak peek into the content. So my first thought, always, when I go into an organization, is know your audience. Have a look at this guy. Just in your own mind, think, what do you think he does for a job? How much do you think he earns? IT engineer, how much do you reckon he earns? 30, 40 grand a year? Anyone up on that? Content, sorry? He's a content provider, okay. I usually get DJ, graphic designer. This is Sergey Brin, founder of Google, worth over $50 billion. Dollars. Yeah, not pounds. It's almost the same, actually. Sergey Brin. The reason I show you this is because the assumptions you just made, because of what he's wearing, where he's sitting, what he's doing. If you look closely, he's actually got Google glasses on. That might have been the giveaway. Some of you going, yeah, I knew that. I knew it was him. No, you didn't. So my point is, start with your audience and remove your assumptions, because otherwise you start building solutions because of the assumptions you've made as opposed to your audience. Have a look at these nice young people. These are new inductees from Expedia in the Czech Republic. It was a few years ago, and they're all about 19, 21. Now have a look at this group. This group of people are from L'Oreal. They were interns last year. Same sort of age, same sort of demographic. They'd all been to university. But the difference between the solutions that I built for both these guys and the Expedia guys were totally different. The L'Oreal people were based in one building in London. The Expedia people were all around the world. We had one person in Koh Samui, one person in Tasmania, 3 people in wherever, Kazakhstan. So my first piece of advice before you go and build a digital solution is know who your audience are and where they're from. Okay, because region is just as important as age. But at the same time, here's what I've learned having worked with a lot of millennials and a lot of Gen Z who are turning 18-ish this year. They're coming to your organizations very soon and they're not ready. But here's what I've learned in general and very, very high level, because we've all seen Simon Sinek tell you exactly what's wrong with millennials. Great. But you don't hear people telling you what's right with them. Same with the Gen Z. But here's what I've learned from working with them. They are hungry. They are looking for the quickest way to the top. They are ambitious. They're focused. They are building crazy networks like we just didn't. I say we, and I know some of you are going, I'm so not a you. Sorry, I'm only 30. But they are very, very ambitious because they've seen people get to the top very quickly. They've seen 25-year-old Kylie Jenner become the first billionaire, self-made billionaire. They want that. So when they come to your organizations, be ready for that. When I was working at L'Oreal, I remember sitting in an HR meeting and one of the HR directors said, how do we make them stay for 10 years? I'm like, why would you want to? Let them go. Let them come, have a nice play and leave. And guess what? They might come back. So, different mindset from you guys. Welcome them. Try and remove your assumptions. Spend some time with them. They will freak you out, but spend some time with them before you start your solution. Now, the very first thing that I also realized is that when you're building a digital solution, you are competing not with Cornerstone and any other in-house app. You're competing with Instagram. You're competing with Facebook. Well, they're not even on Facebook anymore. Snapchat. Your solution has to be good as or better than that. So how do you do that when you're working in a corporate brand? Create your own in-house brand. This is what I like to do. When I was at Apple and EE, I wasn't actually allowed to. Apple won't let you do anything. So I used my corporate branding, but it gets lost in a sea. Internal comms is using the same branding. Your boss is, the CEO's messaging. Everything looks the same. When I got to Expedia, I just had this thought about standing out in a crowd, creating an in-house brand that stood aside. Because here's the thing, when you go to build an app, you're going to need an icon that doesn't look like your corporate icon. And it's good to get that ready first. So here's the thing, when I was at, I was given the title of Global Learning Organization, or whatever. But when you turn it into Glow, that looked nice. Now, if you're going to go and build a brand, don't do this on your own. Go to an agency. This cost about £5,000 to create, and I used it on everything. They built beautiful slides for me. They built, whenever I did onboarding, here's the thing, we think everything has to be digital. It doesn't. I spent some time with the Expedia, I call them kids because they're kids. I spent some time with them when they were getting onboarded, and I watched what they did. They went to the intranet to find all the new onboarding stuff. They went file, print, and they stapled all the bits of information they wanted. It went in the bin on a Friday, Monday, file, print again. So my solution for that was give them all the information they need in a beautiful magazine that they keep. That's what I did. And being the one-trick pony, when I got to L'Oreal, same thing, I did it again. And they go, wow, it's amazing. Yeah, I know. Happy to share this and what this looks like to any of you if you're interested. So, creating a brand, stand out amongst the noise of your corporate life and your corporate noise. Now, I'm going to talk to you very quickly about a digital platform. I've actually built 5 now. First one was at Apple, and then the last one was at L'Oreal. Every single one of them did something different. The L'Oreal one, because everyone was in the same building, was very much around booking on classroom training, getting bite-sized learning, nothing much more than that. The Expedia one, because it was worldwide, and it also had to work over emerging markets, mobile networks, was very, very different. Very different approach to how I created content, how I enabled peer-to-peer learning, and I'm going to share some of that with you today. So my point is, you can't have a one-size-fits-all. This microphone thing's really heavy. Can you see it's coming down my leg? I'm starting to lose my dress. Anyway, so the other bit of advice, and I'm going to be talking in a breakout area later. I've got the details in a minute. And I'm going to show you a lot more detail about what I've done here. But I made a lot of mistakes building apps, a lot. Biggest mistake that I made was doing my own layout of an app. I thought it would be really cool to have something called The House, and you'd have learning in the lounge room, and you'd do stuff in the media room. And the problem was, we launched it, we had all this content, I didn't even know where anything was, no one could navigate. Don't do that. Go and steal somebody else's. I went online, I just found really good apps. You're going to end up with lots of digital content. And you're going to need to have lists and headings. I went to the Wallpaper app. Do you know that Wallpaper magazine? And they have city guides. And I just stole their layout. So it looked like this, lots of nice subheadings, big headings, subheadings, and then your content. So, first bit of advice, do not design your own UI. Steal it from somebody who's done it really, really well. Other things that now I don't think this is just for millennials and Gen Z. This is for people like me as well. I don't want my joining instructions or the notes of where my training's going to be in an email. I don't want to have to print it off and carry it in my handbag and lose it and then find it. So we created boarding passes that went into your Apple Wallet for your training or your conference. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay, so some of these solutions you think, oh, digital for the kids. No, grown-ups want it too. Grown-up. So I'm going to talk to you very quickly about launch day. When you are launching an app, what not to do. I was at, actually, first of all, this is my husband. This is Tim. He doesn't usually look this smug, but this is Tim when I was about to launch an app at EE. EE is a mobile network. It was Orange and T-Mobile merged together and launched 4G a couple of years ago. And I was under a lot of pressure to launch this app quickly. And I want to please. The CEO is going, Di, we need this, we need this. I'm like, okay. And I remember going home to Tim, and Tim runs a software company, by the way. What would he know? And saying to him, it's not really ready, but I think it'll be okay. And Tim went, don't launch it. Oh, but it'll be, he goes, don't launch it. No one will remember your launch was late. Everyone will remember it didn't work. And they will not come back. And you will spend a year trying to get them to come back to the app that didn't work. And they won't. So I took his advice, I threw it in the bin and I launched it, and it was a disaster. I spent a year trying to get people back on the app, trying to tell them it was a mistake, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, you'll hear more about Tim in the breakout room, which is where I'm going to be at 11:30. I'm going to show you loads more content. I'm going to go into a bit more detail. We'll have a bit of a workshop. I'm also going to talk about how do you get budget to do this. I've got a really nice formula and format for taking this idea to your senior leaders and getting sign-off and getting budget, and then dying to see the results. So come see me at 11:30 in the Artist Lounge. Now, for the content, what do? The other piece of advice I've got is if you're going to launch an app, make sure you have at least 4 to 6 months content ready. Otherwise, it's like launching Netflix and there's 2 movies and 1 box set. Everyone's watched that by Sunday and they want more. And you're going to be running. So start your content before you start building your platform, or at least at the same time. I'm going to show you some of the content. I'm a big fan of peer learning, because one thing I have learned with especially the millennials, and I'm sure Gen Z will be very similar, although Gen Z have started to tell us they want more time in the classroom. Interesting. But one thing I've found is if I tell a millennial to do something, it's like your mum telling you something. They're like, whatever. But if I get another millennial to tell you something, you'll be like, oh, all right, now I'll listen. I'm going to share with you some of the stories. They're very, very quick videos. The other thing, don't create a video over 2 minutes. They do not have the attention span. 1 minute 57 is the maximum video time I will create. If you've got more, you need to break it into chapters. Right, this is my Fion. This is my Fion. This is my intern, Fion, with her best lesson that she learnt whilst being an intern with me.
The biggest feedback I got was to not twirl my hair in a meeting or at all in the office, and that's because it makes you look very unprofessional and you just don't want to look like the intern.
She'd come to meetings and just do this all day. Oh my God, do you think you could stop that? Good top tip, if ever you do get these kids reporting into you, I found the best thing to say is, I'm going to help you not look like the intern in the room, or the grad, or the apprentice. Then would that be good? And they go, yeah. Okay, so then you can give them any feedback you like. Just want to help you not look like the intern. I'm also going to now show you Veronica. Great tip. I tell kids this all the time. They don't listen. Have you noticed they turn up with nothing to write on? What's that about? Here we go. Here's Veronica.
I absolutely love my phone. My phone is my whole life. But what I found out when I joined L'Oréal, it's better if you leave it behind at your desk, especially if you go to a meeting. Just leave your phone, leave your laptop, take a paper notebook. I know it's very old school, but take it with you, take notes. You will remember so much more and you will look so much more engaged in the meeting.
There we go. Simple, easy, cheap to create as well. I've actually got another one, and this is Dara, who is the CEO at Expedia. He's now the CEO at Uber. His is a little bit long, and I've just noticed the clock and I don't have enough time. So you'll have to come and see me at 11:30, where I will share Dara's best leadership lesson. I'm not going to stop there. My final thing is classroom. It's getting a bad rap. It shouldn't get a bad rap. You still have to bring people into a classroom, because this guy doesn't know the impact he's having by standing like this. They don't know. You can't teach them this online because they can't see. Get these people back into classrooms. So very quickly, digital classroom learning. Go high at the beginning of people's career or job. Then you can drop off. Then digital can go low and it can ramp up. That's the model I've said. If you are doing training, try and get it into bite-sized pieces now. We did some training in the London Eye. These are the training rooms that I built at EE, sorry. Make these classroom places they want to come. These kids need to be in cool places. They don't want to be in the Holiday Inn training room. They just don't. So, do some cool things. Bring digital to the classroom. I've got those videos. I have a bank of about 100 videos now. I use them in my training. I say, please bring a notebook with you to all meetings. And they go, yeah, 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 yeah. And they watch Veronica. They go, oh, we should take notebooks for meetings. Okay, who knew? For all of you who don't believe that classroom is still necessary, I'd like to see who would let their hair be cut by somebody who learnt to cut hair online. And for all of you men thinking, doesn't matter, it can happen to you too. Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, if you'd like to stay in touch, the other thing I do know is you're going to want to go back and say, oh, we've got all this content and I've seen these really good videos. I'm very happy to share these videos. I've got a little handful of them that I've had sign off. If you'd like to email me, I will send you the password to my Vimeo account where you can download those videos, or you can see those videos and share them with your internal people. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.